What is up, everybody? Chris and Bear from Nord Games. We are going to do some design time today. It is June 3rd, and we are talking Treacherous Traps 2. So,
Yeah,
Bear, do you have the PDF open and
I do.
available? All right, I do
I
too.
do have the PDF open and available.
All
You
right.
know, it's open, not available, unfortunately.
So,
Currently taken.
as long as one of us has a copy of the PDF, if you don't have a copy of the PDF, go to the Kickstarter campaign page and download your copy and start playing with this random trap generator today. If you're curious, the difference between the random trap generator in the first book, which I've got right here, ooh, so shiny, is the original one. We provided inspiration for things like your triggers and effects, but we didn't list. We're standardizing on four possible variations of each one of them. So this time around, what we've done is added four variations of every trigger and effect. So the intention there is to give you more inspiration, give you some more answers possibly, and help you to sort of build your dungeon out. And maybe thematically you see some options where like, oh, that's super cool, I'll use that. Or just in general, like, hey, maybe you originally thought that it would be a trap attached to this object, but you're inspired by one of the triggers or effects, and you say, oh, that sounds like a cool object, I'll try that.
Yeah, maybe that's a
So
better one to use. Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So sort of break you out of your usual comfort zones and stuff like that. So what we're going to be doing is playing with the table on the random trap generator, which has 50 triggers and 50 effects. We can either pick or we can roll. I love rolling. So I figured for this video, let's just go ahead and make a few. Oh, I should pull out
On go.
some notes so I can make some notes on what we actually create. That would be good. I'll put that right there. All right, everyone's happy. Cool. So right off the bat, Bear, do you want a magical trap or a mechanical trap? What would be like? What are you feeling?
Give me a D100.
A D100? Okay,
I
I can
could
do
use
that.
either.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a madman. He's going straight for the D100. All right. So with this, basically, it's essentially a D50, but you have to use a D100 to
Yep.
do it. But basically, we've got okay. The first is mechanical. That's going to be a 7. So open or close door is the first one. And that's the trigger.
Okay.
So if we go to open or close door, we should find some options. Let's see. Open or close door. For some reason,
Hinge door, a sliding panel, a trap
yeah.
door, double doors. You want to give me a D4?
D4. Yeah.
Yeah.
This man just wants to roll on everything. A 4.
Oh, dude, I love dice. Dice are like, I mean, that's probably why I DM so much, is because someone will roll something and I'm like, oh, now I get to interpret what you rolled. So
That reminds me of something real quick. So at KublaCon Prime, not last week and weekend before, I roll. So I have a bunch of different dice, and my very first D20 right here. This is the culprit. So I've got a set of black with white letters, white numbers, and a set with white that is white with black numbers. And this rolled 3 1s in a row, then a 20, then a 1. It was like, what is
just,
happening?
one side or the other.
And you know what I did was, after the first 2 1s, I decided not to put it into dice jail, and instead I said, I'm just going to keep rolling with it and see what happens.
I mean,
and what's funny is I had 4 D20s out just for advantage, disadvantage, rolling multiple attacks at the same time, just for efficiency, right? But
yeah,
this one was the one that just happened to be there when there were some checks involved. And I was like, all right, so, this check happens on the monster or whatever, and then 1. And I was like, okay. And then when I came to the next one, I just happened to grab the same die, and again, 1 and another 1, and then a 20, and I was like, yes, we broke the curse, and then a 1 after that. Anyway,
so
dice
it's like, no, you're back to being cursed.
They're so much fun. They tell
crazy,
the story.
I guess to keep the derailing going for just a second longer. Also for me at KublaCon, when we were running games, I had 2 instances. This happened twice where someone rolled a nat 1 as a halfling, and then they have luck,
They reroll,
so
yeah.
they got to re-roll it, and they got a nat 20, and that happened twice.
Ooh.
Where it went from a nat 1 decision where I'm like, okay, cool, I know exactly what I'm going to do to you, to now you rolled a nat 20, and I'm like, oh, because both times it was on checks that were against my like my big bad that's disguised, right? So he's like, all like, I'm like, oh, thank God, look at you. You're gonna have no idea that this is the big bad. Wait.
Wait, they've got luck.
I love dice. I honestly, it is why I love rolling so much.
So I got a 4. I got a 4 on that.
All right.
So you got a double doors.
So essentially, when we open a grand pair of double doors, this will trigger our trap.
Okay, and then the effect is going to be...
What will our effect be?
If we're going to roll the D100 on it, I got a 98.
A 98.
Wall of Force. That's cool.
Oh, interesting.
That's cool. Okay, so...
Oh, I like that.
So when this happens, so this would be a hybrid trap, because we have a mechanical trigger combined with a magical effect. So basically, something happens to, like, there's some sort of mechanism inside of the door hinge or the threshold or something like that that somehow triggers this wall of force. Now, on the wall of force, there are some options for, like, what it might be, what's creating the wall of force. So I'll roll on that one as well. It's going to be 4 again. So a bridging plane.
A horizontal plane forms across a pit, chasm, or gap in an invisible floor that may lure creatures onto it before the effect strips away the support around it. Okay.
Okay.
You know, something that's kind of cool about this trap that I'm thinking, honestly, this is less of a trap to kill or harm your players and more a mechanism of how, like, an ethereal bridge or things would work. So you open these double doors and there's a pit in front of you, and if you don't disarm the trap, right, then it activates as normal and it goes across. Because think about this, your players are going to run to a locked door and they're going to check it for traps, right? And when I tell them there's a trap, they're going to disarm that trap, right? And disarming that trap actually going to make their lives worse.
Interesting.
If they didn't disarm that trap, the bridge would go across fine and be normal, and they could walk across it. Whereas if they disarm the wall of force,
so
next thing you know, there's a 50-foot pit now.
Well, and so opening the double door, you're basically somewhere in this room. There is like a large chasm area, and maybe it's a large pit, maybe it's the bridge or whatever. So we're sort of formulating our vision as we're coming up with the trap and what the rest of the dungeon might look like, or at least the rest of the chamber or corridor might look like. So 100%, and it could be a narrow corridor where basically you open it up, and if you left it disarmed, then basically that wall of force would or if you left it armed, that wall of force would be there for you to walk across.
It'd be beneficial.
Chasm. So the corridor would have something to walk on. Maybe it would disarm, like maybe it would disable at a certain point, and drop you all down. So there's that.
You definitely could still make it scary where it's like they open the door and then maybe the trigger is like, okay, for 1 minute the wall of force is a bridge, right? Well, so you have 1 minute to cross.
Also keep in mind that it said open or close door. So here's a scenario. Let's say that same deal, there's a room with a wall of force that is, I'm a camera. My wife is going to be in the background for just a second. I always have to warn her when my camera is on.
Oh yeah. Same.
Okay.
Anyone who comes over there, see, there's a door right here. That door's a closet, but there's another door over here. So when that door opens, I have to instantly be like, okay, no.
So ever since we went from being in like an office and stuff like that back to being like working from home, it's such a different situation. Anyway, everyone gets to see this. It's super fun. Anyway, we're all in the same situation. Everyone knows. So I am wearing pants though, believe it or not. So
that's a plus.
But what about this?
I'll leave it up to your imagination.
Yeah, exactly. But what about this with this trap? I like the idea of maybe using the close part of it, as in you open the door and that could potentially prime the trap. But by closing the door, that disables the wall of force. So it could be like a multi-stage kind of a thing where you open the door, the wall of force enables, but if the door closes, the wall of force disables.
Yep.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So now,
that's cool too.
Yeah. So now you've got
Weirdly
some situation where, you know, the whole party ends up in the corridor or in the room, and then the door shuts behind them for safety, and then wah, you know, they all fall down.
Yep, like the rogue goes, okay, we need to shut the door, or like we need to make sure no one's come from behind us. Let's close it.
Yeah.
And you know your barbarian's already halfway across that bridge. The other thing, weirdly enough, I like the thought of some traps that aren't designed specifically to like harm or to to kill you. Essentially, we were talking about this at PublCon, weirdly enough, like a trap that drops healing potions on you, or a trap that like you could use traps in a beneficial way, like maybe it's in an escape route, right? So it's like they know I would be running down this, I'd be trying to escape, so it gives you like spider climb and haste and like expeditious retreat and things like that. So it's like I'm the big bad, I'm trying to escape, I run down my secret hallway, I trigger my own trap to get hit with all of these spells, and now I'm faster, I'm out, right?
Okay.
So
yeah,
kind of there's so many different ways of handling traps, and to me this one being a helpful trap, even how you mentioned it too. So let's say you open the doors and there's a pit, right?
Yeah.
And then it's on closed door that the actual trap triggers and the bridge shows up. So the PCs have the door open, they're trying to figure out how to get across, right? And then they close the doors for safety, and then all of a sudden there's a bridge, and they're like, oh whoa, okay, we solved the puzzle. Essentially.
Well, so that form of it feels less like a trap and more like a puzzle. So that kind of thing could definitely go into the puzzle chapter of the book. But a form where it's actually designed to do something, potentially harmful to the party, that feels a bit more like a trap. So I've got the notes for that one. That one sounds really cool. So that one's definitely going in the book. Now, for anybody who's curious, if you want to put if you want your own creations to be in the book, go and download the PDF to the Random Trap Generator 2. It'll be on the Kickstarter campaign page. Then there's also links on that page to the Google form where you can submit your own ideas. And basically what we're looking for is your name, so you can be credited as a content contributor, the trigger, the effect, and then your notes on like what is it? Because we will then take it and figure out where should that go in the book. There are 5 chapters of pre-made simple traps that are based on level range. So their level range and lethality, we have to figure that out because it has to fit in that slot.
Something so everyone who's making traps, just be aware, you don't have to worry about DCs, you don't have to worry about any of that type of stuff. We'll be handling that. We just basically need your input of what this type of trap is, what it wants to do, and we're going to kind of take that creative freedom, and it'll be helpful.
Yeah, those are the DCs and damages and all that stuff. Those are in the Random Trap Generator 2, so you can use those for your own creations and stuff, but you won't need to include it when you submit a trap to us. So, because we will figure out where's the most appropriate chapter for this one to go into, and then lethality and stuff like that. Very cool. All right, I like that. Well, let me do this. Why is this now? Oh, there it is. Aha! I can do Adobe. All right, so let me go ahead and do one. All right, you're up. And let's give an example of if we just wanted to do mechanical trap, for example. So, well, actually, I did a mechanical trap in the previous video. Let me do. I guess I did
magical.
Both. Yeah, I'll do magical. Oh. All right. So what? Yeah, what?
You're the one that comes to you.
Magical. We'll do magical. I love magic. Is fun because it's very versatile. So with magical, if you download the PDF, you'll see you actually roll a d20 if you just want a magical trigger and magical effect. Because what we did was we did 20 mechanical, 20 magical, and then 10 ambiguous, so that they could be mechanical or magical, so depending on your flavor. So something like Disturb Liquid, that could be based on something mechanical that measures the level of the water or ripples or whatever, but that could also be magical. And magical is a little bit easy because literally anything can be explained through magic. So
Yeah.
with this, I got a 14, which is pass area. And then the effect is a 10, which is restraint. Okay, cool. So with the pass area, that one, let's see here, effect. Where did it go?
Yeah, where is it?
Which object? Is wrong key, pass area. Where is it? Oh, that's ambiguous. Okay, so magical. Detect magic. There it is. All right, pass area. So moving into or through an area triggers the trap. This could be triggered by anyone or by creatures meeting certain criteria, such as good aligned creatures, elves, or anyone who isn't a goblin. So like you could sort of like an if else statement kind of a thing. So you could say if, and maybe goblins created the trap. So if elves, dwarves, or humans come through here, then the trap triggers. So
And trigger trap.
yeah. So the options that we have are anyone, matching creatures, expected creatures, or directional passage. So that could be like if they're passing this way.
They don't know the correct direction they're coming in,
Exactly.
or you know that they're going to be approaching from this direction.
So this is a fun thing too. You could say if they walk forward, but if they pass through this area walking backward, because magic, you could say, and you could hint as to the correct way of walking through without triggering the trap. So you could do something like they have to walk on all fours, they have to crawl.
I was going to say you have to do a silly walk.
Yeah, you have to do a silly walk. Yeah, you could do something where you have to skip, you have to hop on one leg, any of that stuff. I'm going to make it simple and just say you have to walk backward, but what that could indicate is like give some hint on the walls of the chamber with some sort of what is the method to pass safely through this room, or it could be related to lore or history or whatever.
I was going to say footprints, even like
yes,
or things like that, like dust that's settled, and you look at it and you're like, yes, the footprints look like they're facing you, and you're like, what do you mean the footprints
every
look like
set of footprints
me?
look like they're facing you? There's no back and forth. It's like, so
no
that's a very, very good tell. And so that could be included in the countermeasures where a perception check reveals that all footprints in this chamber or passageway are facing your direction.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Now, how are they going to interpret that as we need to walk backwards? We're about to find out.
Exactly. But... So and then what was it? Restraint. So let's see, under here, magical effects, restraint. Not, for some reason, not all the headers got a bookmark in the Google Doc, from the Google Doc to the PDF. I have no idea why. All right, so restraint. So all creatures in the area are held in place. This can be via an unseen force or animated ropes or chains. As a simple trap, a deadly version of the effect might just be a very difficult. A deadly version of this effect might just be very difficult to break loose. So like you're just like frozen in place via magic. So let's see. Oh, it says
it's funny. Keep going.
However, as a part of a complex trap, this effect can expose creatures to greater danger. That's pretty cool. So hold them in place and then shoot fire at them.
I kind of did this with one of my traps recently, which was binding, like animated bindings. It was essentially these shackles that came alive and grabbed people. And I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of people went up to those and just decided to interact with them. It is always funny to me. It's just like, this looks like a trap, and that does not stop players from wanting to go and touch it.
Yeah. It's always like, ooh, shiny. There's something interesting over there.
Yeah, there has to be something more to this than it could just trap me and try to murder me. Yeah. And the answer is no. It kind of might just try to trap you and murder you.
Well, and the thing is, when it comes to traps, you don't want to overdo it, but you do want to present like enough of them to where it is an interesting and an appropriate level of danger. If your players are too paranoid to go into any of your dungeons and play any of your adventures because you're literally going to drop them down a bottomless pit and that's the end of their character, that's not fun. What is fun is providing hints and having challenges. And if they do get past your trap because of their creative thinking, then it's like a win all around. I'd much rather people find the trap because they deciphered the riddle than if they fell down the trap, fell down the pit trap and died.
100%. I think, to me, too many traps or getting your players so used to like you throwing traps will slow things down considerably. Because like people will want to check every door, they'll want to check every surface. And even then, you're like, no, you're fine. Especially if they roll low.
Yeah. They're like, I had 3 traps in my mega dungeon at Kubicon Prime, and I at one point I tried to indicate to them there are no traps after this point. I said something to the effect of, it's likely that they put traps toward the entrance, but after that, once you're past the entrance, you're probably the cultists probably didn't want hazards and stuff potentially going off in the rest of the dungeon.
When you start thinking about it, like where your people, like as a DM, are going to be, it's probably not super trapped because they go through it all the time. A trap going off accidentally or something is not something. It's a workplace hazard. You don't put those in the workplace.
They should be, exactly. OSHA violations. They should be in appropriate spots. They're in an entryway, like to try to keep people out. Only keep people in who belong. Only the people who know the secret. Or Indiana Jones is a great example of, like, you take the idol and now the weight sensitive pedestal detects the idol has been taken, so all hell breaks loose, and all the traps go off at the same time to try to prevent you from getting out alive with the idol, because whoever lives there can come back, clean everything up, reset everything, and put the idol back where it belongs. So I rolled on the restraint and I got Binding Sigil. So it says a rune flares beneath each creature, putting them in place with a circle of binding magic they cannot step beyond. So that's kind of cool. I like the idea of something where maybe there's some sort of a check. Maybe there's a moment where there's a sigil, like there's a magical force sort of coming up from the floor, and if they're able to like jump and grab onto something, then it doesn't grab onto them. But then it's like the floor is lava, they have to avoid touching the floor, otherwise they get bound to the floor. So then you just think,
cave in or start moving in, all that.
The walls can start moving in after this if you want to make more of like
I had a spike trap on one wall, so like they would get shackled against the wall, and then across from them, basically directly behind them, a spike trap would come out of the wall and start moving towards them.
Nice.
And so that's the nice thing about this, especially any of the restraint traps or things like that, can be used in such fun ways, because you can make it scary and deadly and like epic, or you can just make it like this is meant to stop intruders, right? Like this is a barrier now where I'm stuck, I don't want to be stuck, I'm just getting out, right? Like I ain't dealing with this. I'm not going further into this place if it's binding me in place. Like,
so what I'm going to do is the notes I've got is footprints in the chamber or corridor only face toward
one direction.
I only face one direction. You could interpret that however you want. They're only facing you, they're only facing away, or whatever. Only face one direction. Passing through the area facing in the opposite direction triggers the trap. Targets in the area are magically pinned to the ground unless they can get off the ground or something like that.
Yeah,
Let
I
it
mean, even
get off
even
the
in the
ground.
effect,
It'll
for
only
restrained, it
happen.
talks about having a wisdom saving throw
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
or be paralyzed
yeah,
or things
yeah,
like that. So
yeah. So if they can get off the ground, they won't be pinned, and that could be like float spell or something like that, or they're able to
sure.
like Spider-Man away,
Yep,
and
put
then
spider climb
yeah,
on. And,
exactly.
yep.
Yeah, that's super cool. All right, there you go. There's two
Yeah.
awesome traps those are definitely going in the book. Um, that's gonna be it for this video. Obviously, we're doing a lot of designing and stuff in the
Oh
meantime, but
yeah.
I think that hopefully you guys all enjoyed that. A little bit of tangent here, a little bit of tangent there, but we're having fun. So we really appreciate you guys watching these videos. Check out the Treacherous Traps 2 Kickstarter
Yep.
and follow the campaign. Share it with a friend or all your friends. Share it everywhere.
And go make your own
And
traps.
make
Download
your
the
own
random
traps.
trap generator PDF and make some traps and have fun with it.
We also have a link to the Discord, so you can join the community on the Discord if you're not already there, and talk with other budding trapsmiths or legendary dungeon designers and delvers. I've been doing this for quite a long time, and this kind of tool is my favorite thing to just get inspired to create new things and break outside of our comfort zones and really create some memorable adventures for our players. All right, that's it. Until next time, happy gaming,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Yeah.